Hello, my name is Lauren May from Step Up for Students, and today I will be sharing with you an overview of the Florida Tax Credit, Family Empowerment, and Gardiner scholarship programs. The Florida Tax Credit is designed for children from lower income families. Scholarship funds may be used for private school tuition and fees or transportation costs to attend an out-of-district Florida public school. The funds for the Florida Tax Credit Scholarship are raised by two scholarship funding organizations in Florida, Step Up for Students and AAA. These organizations go to large corporations and ask for donations, which are then turned into scholarships for children. The Florida Tax Credit Scholarship is available for students in grades kindergarten through 12th. Now we're going to go over eligibility for the Florida Tax Credit Scholarship. There are three things we will look at to determine if your family is eligible for the scholarship. The first is student eligibility, the second is household eligibility, and the third is income eligibility. The required documentation that we will need to determine these three things is the following. For the student eligibility, we will need to see a birth certificate and or passport with your child's date of birth, because as I stated before, your child has to be going into kindergarten and or up through 12th grade. If your child is in first grade and up, please include a copy of their report card. Next, we'll have to determine if your household is eligible. It is important that you show us proof that everyone who you say lives in your house actually lives there. So we will need documentation with your name and all of the people that you say live in your house's names and your address. Some examples of things that would work are your driver's license, a utility bill, but we also need to prove that your children live in your house. So the insurance policy, if you have your children on an insurance policy, that should list their names and have your address on it. Or you can also include a rental agreement if it has your children's names on it. And then we'll have to determine, is your income eligible? So for that, we will need to see the last 30 days of your pay stubs, any additional income statements that you have, such as Social Security income statements or SNAP benefits. And after we review your application, if we have additional questions, we may ask for your prior year tax returns, but that is not required during the initial application. This is a really important slide because it shows you how big your house can be, how many people can live in your house, which is listed right here under household size, and how much money you can make in order to be eligible for the scholarship. So let's look at a family of 4. If you have 4 people living in your house, you would receive priority funding if you make up to $47,638 for this school year. For the Florida tax credit, you can also receive it if you make up to $66,950 and you have 4 people living in your house. And if for the Family Empowerment Scholarship, you can make up to $77,250. And this goes based on number of people in your house, whether you receive priority funding, or how much you can make to receive the tax credit and the Family Empowerment Scholarship for the maximum that you can make. So please take a look at this because this will tell you right away if you qualify for the scholarship or not. And I encourage you to take a picture of this, remember this. But one note about this chart is that it changes on an annual basis depending on the legislation. So this is the current chart for today, which is March 31st, 2020, but this could change as the law changes. So if it does, we'll update our website, and I encourage you to check there if you're looking at this much later than March 31st. This is a student spotlight. So these 2 boys, Miguel and Trace, both received full scholarships to college after graduating with the Florida Tax Credit Scholarship. We always like to share these stories with our families that are interested in the scholarship program because it shows you what a great thing the scholarship can be for families. And at the bottom of this video, I will link this story so you can click on it and read the story about Miguel and Trace and their wonderful experience in school thanks to the tax credit scholarship. And you can see what colleges they're going to on scholarship. So now we'll go over the important dates for the Florida Tax Credit Scholarship Program. In January of 2020, the season opened for renewal families. So families that were on the tax credit scholarship last year could begin reapplying in January. In February, they received processing priority. And in March, we opened our season for new families and renewal families. So as of today, March 31st, everyone can apply. Whether you're a new family or a renewal family, you can do your application for the Florida Tax Credit Scholarship on our website, which is www.stepupforstudents.org, and it will be linked at the end of this presentation as well as at the bottom of this presentation. Next, we're going to go over the Family Empowerment Scholarship Program. This scholarship is designed for children from lower income families. It was created in July of 2019. Like the McKay Scholarship, the Family Empowerment Scholarship is funded through the Florida Education Finance Plan, or the FEFP, and it also funds district public schools and charter schools. The FEFP funds that. The Family Empowerment Scholarship is a scholarship that can be used for private school tuition and fees. So one thing I like to remind our new families is you cannot use any of our scholarships while attending public school except for the reading scholarship. The reading scholarship is for children in public school. But the three that we're discussing today, which are the tax credit, the family empowerment, and the Gardiner scholarship, you cannot attend public school and have this scholarship. It has to be one or the other. The Family Empowerment Scholarship can be used for private school tuition and fees at one of the qualifying private schools by the Florida Department of Education. And the list of schools is on their website as well as on our Step Up for Students website. So now we'll go over eligibility. So first, same as the tax credit, for the Family Empowerment Scholarship, we'll be looking at student eligibility, household eligibility, and income eligibility. For student eligibility, for the Family Empowerment Scholarship, a child must have attended public school the year prior or be going into kindergarten. They also will have to have a birth certificate or passport and a report card if they are going into grades 1 through 12. Then we'll need the same information regarding household eligibility as we did for the tax credit scholarship. So we will need a driver's license, utility bill, listing your name and address, and everyone that lives in your house has to have something with their name and address on it, as well as your children. So the most popular document that lists your children's names and address is an insurance policy, but a rental agreement, as long as your children's names are on it, it will suffice as well. And then we'll look at your income eligibility. Same as the Florida tax credit, we'll need your last 30 days of pay stubs, any additional income statements that you have, such as Social Security or SNAP benefits. And we will not need your prior year tax returns on your first application. We will only ask for those if they're needed after we receive your initial documents. Also, if you have recently become unemployed, we will need you to tell us that you've applied for unemployment and submit any documents you have regarding that. This is a really great slide. I encourage you to write this website down, but it is also linked at the bottom of this video, so it should be easy for you to find. But this slide and this link will take you to step-by-step tutorial videos for our income-based scholarships. I encourage you to watch them. They're not that long, but if you watch them before you begin your application, it should be much easier. I also like to remind families that our income-based scholarship application is mobile friendly. So you can apply for this scholarship using your phone. And I encourage you to do that because it makes it very easy. For example, if you need to upload a picture of your last 30 days of pay stubs, you can do that by taking a picture on your phone and uploading it directly into your portal. It makes it a lot easier than trying to take a picture and email it to yourself or scan it and then upload it into our portal. So I always like to remind families that our income-based scholarship is mobile friendly, and I encourage you to apply using your phone if you can. Next, we're going to talk about the Gardiner Scholarship Program. The Gardiner Scholarship Program is named after former Senate President Andy Gardiner. You can see a picture here of his family, and Andy Jr. there in this picture has Down syndrome. So when Andy was born, the family realized that they needed more resources than families without a student who has a unique ability. And so they created the Gardiner Scholarship, and it's designed for children with unique abilities. Parents can customize their child's education with the Gardiner Scholarship. For the Gardiner Scholarship, funds can be used toward private school tuition, therapy, curriculum, technology, and even a college savings account. The average scholarship amount is a little more than $10,000. And something special to note about the Gardiner Scholarship is that children can qualify beginning at age 3, and they can keep the scholarship until they're 22 years old. This is a very important slide. It shows you the disabilities that qualify for the Gardiner Scholarship. So I'm not going to read them all, but anaphylaxis is one of them. So if your child has a severe allergy with an EpiPen and they're diagnosed with anaphylaxis, they would qualify for the Gardiner Scholarship. Same with the autism spectrum disorder, traumatic brain injury, muscular dystrophy, a high-risk child, children with rare diseases, and children with Down syndrome, along with everything else listed on this slide. So this slide will tell you very quickly if your child qualifies. The Gardiner Scholarship does not look at a family's income at all. So it doesn't matter how much money your family makes. It just matters that when your child has one of these disabilities and they've been diagnosed with one of these disabilities. Next, we're going to go over eligibility. So for a new family, we'll have to determine, is the student eligible and are you eligible for funding? For student eligibility, these are the things that we will need. We will need proof of Florida residency, and you can submit a Florida ID card, driver's license, or utility bill. We'll need your child's age or grade level, so you can have a birth certificate or passport, and if they're older or if they're already enrolled in school, you can upload their report card. And then for the qualifying disability, we will need to see either a doctor or psychologist diagnosis or a copy of their individual education plan, which is their IEP with the disability listed. Those are the two ways that legislation allows you to send us proof of a qualifying disability. And then we'll have to determine if you're funding eligible. So we have to determine that your child does not still attend public school. So you will either have to give us a public school withdrawal form, a home education letter, a letter of admission or enrollment to a private school, or a letter of scholarship withdrawal from a private school. And then we also require, per legislation, a sworn compliance statement. So you'll have to upload a notarized sworn compliance statement. However, beginning in January of 2020, you can now go on our website on the Gardiner application and you can click an online notary. So if you'd prefer to not get a notarized statement and upload it, you can use the online notary option during the Gardiner Scholarship application, and that will work as well. Gardiner Scholarship Program important dates. In March of 2020, we opened the season for new and renewal families. And for the Gardiner Scholarship, renewal families will have funding priority through June 30th. And then beginning on July 1st, we can start enrolling new families who were either on the wait list last year or who are new applicants this year for the Gardiner Scholarship. This is a video that I encourage you to watch. It's linked at the bottom of this webinar video, but it is a story about a child on the Gardiner Scholarship and how the Gardiner Scholarship helped her and her family. So I encourage you to watch the 60-second video after we finish this presentation. We have a group at Step Up for Students. We have an advocacy arm, and our advocacy arm is called the Florida Voices for Choices. I encourage you to follow, like, and share our group on social media. You can find us on Twitter and on Instagram and Facebook at Florida Voices for Choices, and you can find us on Twitter at FLV4C. Our advocacy network works to share stories about the great things that our scholarship has done for families, schools, and faith leaders across the state. And we encourage you to join our network so that you can share your stories as well and stay up to date on what's going on with educational options in Florida. If you would like to join our network to receive text message updates from us, you can text the letters FVFC to the phone number 52886, and then you'll be a part of our network. What that means is if we have an event in your area, we will text you and ask you to come. Sometimes we'll ask our advocates to send a thank you email or letter to their lawmakers to let them know about the great things that have been happening in their town or with the scholarship, or we might even just say thank you, ask you to thank your lawmakers for supporting educational options. So if you're interested in getting more involved with advocacy, you can easily do that by texting FVFC to the number 52886, or you can follow us on our social media pages. And finally, we have a call center that is happy to help you. The number is 877-735-7837, and we can answer any questions you have about applying for the scholarship. And we also have a website, which is stepupforstudents.org. When you go onto our website, we have a chat box. So if you'd like to chat with someone on the chat box, you can do that from the hours of 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. So I encourage you to get onto our website, learn more about our scholarships, and start your application. All of our applications are served on a first-come, first-served basis. So the earlier you start, the better chance you have of getting awarded a scholarship. Thank you so much for being with us today. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.